Hi! So today I planned on making some videos to move forward, and that didn't happen. Instead, I just ended up facing my own ego and crying in my meditation chair with a set of mala beads. I really like mala beads, and I love rosary beads. You don't need to use stuff like that the way that other people tell you to use them. There's just an intention to rosary beads and mala beads that you can just tap into that intention. And so like I wrap them around my hands in a way that just feels like I'm holding on to something that's giving me support. And they don't have to be spiritual or religious, but they do have a significant intention to them, and I think that's really neat. Plus they're a circle. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe I'll do a video on mala beads or rosary beads sometime. And the rosary was, from what I understand, it was created not specifically for Catholics. So anyway, they're just cool, and I just wrap them in my hands, and you know, you can follow your guidance. Where do your hands want to be? I say that all the time in my Sunday meditations, but it is significant. So like, you know, you could put your fingers together, prayer posture, in front of your heart, in front of your third eye, or palms up on your, you know, your knees. But it's significant. Where do your hands want to be? You can feel more when you listen to your guidance and put your hands where they want to be. You know, your body moves naturally in the best way. Your body wants to heal. Your body wants to always get rid of crap, whatever's not serving it. Your body wants to get rid of it. Your body holds information in the form of pain to give you information. All right. I got cut off one time. I was driving, and this car cut off me and another car at the same time. And the other driver who was cut off and me, we both were like, we both had our hands up. We both were going like, what the, you know, what the hell? Like, but palms up is a receiving information. Kind of an intention that's just natural. You go, what the hell? You know, what the hell? I'm asking for information, like what? So when we meditate with our palms up on our knees, we are asking to receive information. So there's that, and then there's significance to hands to prayer, whether it's in front of your heart and it's a heart sincerity, or a third eye where you're, you know, grateful for your intuition, grateful for your brow chakra, grateful for intuition and information to come intuitively that you can trust. You're setting up that intention to be grateful for the information that's going to come in to your third eye or your heart, both directions. Okay. All right. So my plan was to make videos today. That didn't happen. I ended up crying. I was crying because I was facing my own ego. All right. I don't have any real problems. My own ego is creating stories / problems. And then I'm facing those. So I, big I, that's the I am, the big I. My spirit is in charge of my life. So my spirit is the big I, and little I is my ego. So when I'm experiencing this pain, it's my little I stories that I'm facing, and just holding the intention to keep realigning with my big I am spirit, my higher self, my true self. it moves me through. So the crying that I did today was really about breaking down my little I egoic stories, telling me why, I guess I'll just say, so, I don't know, I only know what it's like to be intuitive since I was little, whatever. So I don't really know, it's hard for me to put myself in the place of people who, what 4chan calls normies. So the Chan boards, if you don't know what a Chan board is, just they're information boards that people from all over the world can share anonymous information. And they're called Anons, the people who are on 4chan, 8chan. Everybody on there is called, you're called an Anon, and then so no one knows who. So they share information anonymously, whether it's pictures or information, whatever. And then there are people who don't know about 4chan, and they just basically, so a normie is someone who believes the news as it's, normie is somebody who allows other people to give them their version of reality, and then they accept that version of reality without questioning it. So whether it's turning on the television, this is how it's been. Other people's definition are like someone who turns on the TV and believes everything they hear, meaning like the news, but also the newspaper. So, but a normie is basically someone who allows someone else to give them reality the way they see it, or they want them to be manipulated to think. And so so I don't have anything against normies. I still bless, forgive, respect, and love them, and you know, I have a lot of them in my family. So but there's a certain situation that I have going with a particular one that I've been spiritually paired with for a very good reason that I finally figured out. This person, so I do healings on this person. I've done healings on this person for a couple years, and then I'll give the information to that person, and then as soon as I'm finished giving the information to that person, my spiritual team will say, okay, now sit down and get your notebook, because we're going to tell you how you do the exact same thing. So I get this information for this other person so easily and clearly, and not, it's not blocked, right? So my ego's not blocking it because it's for someone else. It doesn't have anything to do with me. When I'm getting the information, it's so easy to see. Da, 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 da. And then I can give the information very freely, very clearly, and smoothly, and it has nothing to do with me. And then as soon as I'm done and I hang up, and I'm extremely grateful for this person, by the way, because they always give me what I ask for, whether I'm asking for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, whatever, this person always accommodates me. So I'm grateful for this person. I love this person so much. And I've gotten farther by doing these healings on this person than I would be able to get without this person, because this person is a very special person, high vibrational person. And so I see the information for him, and then my team gives me, like, this is how you're doing the exact same thing. Okay, so then I learn. So I was guided to do a healing like weeks ago, and I started and didn't finish. So what was happening was I was superimposing us over each other. And there's more than 7 chakras, but as far as the distance healing work that I do, there's seven main chakras that I use to read and get information quickly, because they each correspond to something. So the first chakra is the root, red. It has to do with safety, belongingness, security, whether you belong to your family, your community, you know. But it also includes work family, or like if people are very religious, their church family. So if they weren't feeling accepted by their church even, they would have some kind of a disruption in their first chakra. Second chakra, orange, is sacral, and it's like around the belt buckle, and it's creativity and power and, you know, love relationships. Third chakra, solar plexus, that has to do with self-esteem. And then the heart is the fourth, giving and receiving love. The fifth is the throat, thyroid, and that's communication, self-expression. And then you got the brow, which is your intuition. And then you have your crown, seventh, which is, you know, your connection to spirit. So when I superimposed us over each other, we both have a really clear, really powerful heart. So that's great. Okay. And then I'm winning on this. I'm winning in intuition, and I'm winning on the crown. But he's like, his first, second, third, and fifth are like perfect, like nailing it. He's like nailing it. He's perfect. And mine are basically kind of non-existent. So that explains why, like, I don't really like to talk about what I know or what I think, because I'm afraid of triggering people. I'm afraid that people are going to think I'm nuts. And blah, blah, blah. And then, so, let's see. How would this be relevant? All right. So my ego wants to push this person away with stories of, you know, he doesn't do any of the stuff I do. He's not in the renegade yogi group. He's like, you know, like I never really see him. Like there's all these things. So my ego tells me all these things like, well, it wouldn't be a big deal, whatever. And then my friend Ellen says, you have to stop trying to fire him from your life. And I'm not. I mean, I'm not. But there was once where I was like, okay, I don't see the point, because I didn't see the point of this spiritual connection. I didn't get it. And so I was like kind of trying to fire him, I guess. So she is right in that way. But I'm not doing that now, but I am annoyed. So my ego is annoyed with this connection with this person that, you know, I can't say, there's nothing wrong with the relationship at all. It's all my ego. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. So my pain, so as far as the relationship is concerned, like I can help him in his 6th and 7th chakra as I see what he's doing, and why are his 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th so like perfect, and what can I do to you know, do that. So basically, if you can imagine like being able to talk to dead people and angels, like that's really fun, and it makes my life easier. And it's makes it hard to deal with like people who are alive that are basically kind of in a dark room, kind of like feeling for the light switch all the time. I don't know how to explain it. So I just rather would be in my own little world, you know, getting information and being connected and meditating. So I say, like, I don't know why doesn't everyone want to meditate? But it, like, clearly, if 4 out of my 7 chakras are really not operating at their highest potential, and then I enjoy my heart chakra, I enjoy my brow chakra and I enjoy my crown chakra. So yeah, of course, those are the ones that I want to play with all the time, all the time. I want to be in that world all the time. I don't really want to do the physical world stuff. You know, I do it because I have to, blah, blah, blah. It's not my favorite. But I'm not going to ever be, I'm not going to ever do as much in my path, in my physical life. I'm never going to be able to do as much as I could if I don't really start to work on my first, second, third, and fifth. I'm just not. I'll always be able to do a certain amount, you know, what I'm doing now, obviously. But until I work on the chakras that are really kind of lame, not fun, unless I put the work in to my first, second, third, and fifth, I'm just never going to be working to my highest potential. And I really want an Airstream. You know, I say it all the time. And I know that I won't get it until I put the work in. And that involves these 4 chakras that are not working to their higher potential. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with this relationship, but my ego pretends there is. So that I can dismiss it. So that I can... so my ego mind's like, it's not you, it's him. And there's nothing wrong. My ego's making up all these stories. So then, to make this point, I talked to a client later on, because I think sometimes when I talk to clients, they have this idea that, like, I don't have any of my own work to do. It's not true. Maybe someday that'll be true, but my room fills up with clutter and then I just have to clean it out. Normally I could just meditate, but today it wasn't a meditation. Today it was crying, praying, and doing nothing. So today was about, so instead of meditating, well, I guess, yeah. So to some people meditating feels like doing nothing, but that's not how it feels to me. But today my meditation time wasn't spent meditating today. It was spent crying, praying, and surrendering. That's what it was today. That was only 15 minutes. I don't know what it was, whatever. Who cares, right? So the point is, I was talking to my client, and so she's got something going on. And if she told you her story, your ego would feel sorry for her. Your soul would cheer her on and say, you can do it. You know, you can do this. You set it up for yourself. You can do it. But your ego would say, oh, that's BS. You know, you shouldn't have to go through that. And you're a victim, you know, la, la, la. So, you know, I'm talking to her and I'm saying, what you're going through is, oh God, what you're going through, the hard part is not the stories of where you had to go today and what you have to go through, what you're doing. Okay? That's not the hard part. The hard part is facing your own ego. It's just facing your own ego. Because the things that are happening to her or for her, it depends how she sees them. So if she looks at these things that she's having to go through as a result of somebody else's behavior, so she's being put through things that would never have happened to her if someone else didn't do someone out of integrity, like without integrity. So somebody did a mean thing, really mean thing to her, and now as a result of the mean thing, she's having to go through these things. So I was making the point, like, the hard part isn't doing these things that you have to do as a result of the mean thing. The hard part is facing your own ego. Because she feels like a loser, which she's not. She's amazing. She's an incredible person. She's such a genius. So she feels like a loser because of story, story, story. And she feels like a victim because story, 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 story. And your ego and my ego would totally agree with her that she is a victim and that it is BS. Okay, so I made that point. So the things that she's having to go through now are actually really cool opportunities if she allows it to be happening for her, not to her. All right. So basically, the painful part comes from facing our own egos. So I ended up telling her, you know, I have to face my own ego too and do my own work. And I don't know if you know that, but I'll tell you. And she's like, yeah, tell me. So I was telling her my ego story, and facing my ego. And I just wanted to, somebody told me that, like, some other video I did that I shared, like, I don't have all my crap together. It's not that I don't have my crap together, it's just that I'm moving through my own process and I'm dragging you guys all along with me. But, you know, you're gonna have days when you, I have days when instead of meditating, that's what I plan to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to meditate, but that wasn't the best plan. The best plan for today was to just cry, pray, and surrender, and do nothing. Mercury is in retrograde. It's today's March 11th, 2019, and Mercury went into retrograde March 5th, and it's in retrograde until March 28th. So, you know, the best thing to really do, not sign it, big documents, you know, not make big changes, big moves, and then to be careful of communication, because you can easily be taken the wrong way. So if you got triggered by this, it's because Mercury's in retrograde. It's not because I'm a jerk. No. But the whole thing is, like, when in doubt, oh, Alan Watts, who I love, died in 1973. I love Alan Watts so much. He's like my dead old boyfriend. And he says, if a society, he jokes around, he knows like every single religion. Alan Watts, you can find his tapes. People have taped things and then they've thrown them on YouTube. So he's on YouTube. You can look up Alan Watts. There's an Alan Watt too, but he's still alive, I think. But he would be, you know, Alan Watt may be considered kind of like a conspiracy theorist, but he's a genius too. He's so smart. But Alan Watts, very cool. So he says, if a society is failing or about to fail, the last thing you really want to do is try to stop it. Because when people try to stop a failure of a society, they actually bring about the destruction faster. And so that's really like the way I see social justice warrioring is bringing about the destruction faster. Now, that might not be a bad thing. I don't know. I'm just watching it all happen. But I do, you know, I see a lot of it as just complaining. They think they're advocating for other groups and whatnot, which is fine, but it's not true. They're not really helping. They're just bitching. They're bitching and complaining, and then through the law of attraction, they're focusing on what they're bitching and complaining about, and then they bring more of that, of course. That's what the way the law of attraction works. So, anyway. So I love that Alan Watts says, when your society's on the verge of destruction, the last thing you want to do is try to stop it, because people invariably, when they try to stop destruction of a society, they actually bring about it faster. So I like that. Anyway, it's all about you just doing your own work and feeling what you feel and moving through it, and just having the intention of 15 minutes a day to like inner house cleaning. So most of the time I could just meditate, but sometimes it's a cry fest. It's whatever it is. All right, and I love you, and I wish I could wave a magic wand and make your life super easy, but it's not for me to do. I can't do that for you. Okay? All I can do is drag you along and let you know that I'm, you know, I'm on this rock too, doing what I can do. And I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Be gentle with yourself. Just love yourself when I'm not there, okay? So, you know. Oh, and then my friend who's great that I do the healings on, I told him, like, you're amazing. You're perfect. You're perfect. And then he's like, stop. I said, no, like, and then I said to the email, I'm like, you know, perfect is not flawless. Like, flawless, if he was flawless, you wouldn't get to see, like, his personality and his little smile and his little, like, dimples and how cute he is with his friends. Like, he's perfect. Like, mistakes are made, but then, like, through the mistakes, oh, it's through the mistakes that, like, the cool stuff happens. One time I did try and fire him from my life, and he was like, no, I don't lose friends over misunderstandings, so I don't roll like that. And it was a really big breakthrough for me, because I realized, you know, you can't just push everyone out. So it was very cool. But so I want to tell every one of you, like, and I just, if you can understand, like, you're perfect. You're perfect. You're not flawless. You know, you wouldn't want to be flawless. Flawless is boring. It's sterile. It's like boring, and it's not living. So you are perfect. You're perfect. You know, don't go for flawless. Just realize that right now, you're perfect now. You're already perfect. There's nothing for you to do to become more perfect. And so here's a flying story really fast. So at Flight Safety, we had to fly with a partner. And so the flight instructor, we had one flight instructor and two students. So one would sit in the back and the other would fly, and then we'd fly the lesson, you know, fly the lesson that way. So, like, say, so I watched from the back this kid, Doug, and Doug was, hopefully Doug is not a professional pilot now. Hopefully not. Hopefully he ran out of money, or, you know, he was horrible, and he thought he was great. And so, like, you have to taxi with the nose wheel on the center line, and he's like, he would never do that. And our flight instructor Bill would always, you got to get back to the center line. He's like on the left side, and like we're flying these little tiny planes. So, like, if you can't keep a tiny plane in the center, then you're gonna wreck a jet or a turboprop. You know, you're gonna waste a prop on, like, a taxiway light if you can't. So Doug is like, there's something wrong with the center line, and Bill's like, yeah, it's not under the nose wheel. So anyway, Doug would never admit that he made any mistakes ever, and he was terrible. And, like, Bill would be like, oh, you know, the flight instructor would be like, oh my god, and Doug drank Diet Coke, like, constantly, and he would burp constantly, and he would, like, turn his mouth and burp out the side, like, blow it outside. It was so nasty. And we're in the briefing room afterwards, and Doug is admitting absolutely no responsibility or fault for any mistakes that he made through his part of the training. And so he burps, and then he doesn't want to blow it at Bill, so he blows it towards me. And you have to understand, like, I'd experienced thousands of Doug's burps, and so Doug burps and he blows it at me, and I went, Jesus Christ, Doug, drink juice. And Bill died laughing. But that is not the story that I want to tell. The story I want to tell was Doug, I just want to give you, like, a story about Doug. So Doug would, like, smash the plane on the runway over and over and over. And then he'd see me fly and I wasn't doing that, and then still he'd think, so Bill would say, how do you think that last landing went, Doug? And Doug would say this. That landing was perfect. It was so perfect. It was perfect as perfect could be. Couldn't have gotten no perfecter. And so I'm telling you now, you're as perfect could be. You couldn't get no perfecter. And I love you. Thanks for listening. Under 30 minutes, I'm getting back.